Excited to know when will the Star Trek Legacy start its development officially and whether the same characters will be there in the sequel as well. Stay tuned as we discuss the details of the most successful Star Trek series. As far as we know, Star Trek Legacy is only an idea for now, and the series is officially not under development. Star Trek Legacy is speculated to be led by Captain 7 of 9, who will carry forward the story of the Star Trek characters set up within Picard. Of course, there are a lot of things we know and several things that we want the makers to confirm officially. However, we will discuss here the speculations with regards to the Star Trek Legacy release date, cast, plot, and many other interesting stuff. As Star Trek Picard Season 3's reception has been strongly positive, there's undoubtedly a lot of curiosity among the viewers for more. The cast and crew has been quite vocal on why they want the story to continue for the USS Enterprise G and Star Trek Picard Season 3 Episode 10 that will directly lead to the sequel. For instance, in an interview with Star Trek Explorer, which was shared online by TrekMovie.com, the actor behind the fan-favorite character Jack Crusher assured fans that he would be interested in grabbing the opportunity to return to the sci-fi universe. Spillier said, "I would be there with bells on. If the opportunity presents itself, then sign me up, Scotty." He also shared a little more details about Picard's closing moment, mentioning that while showrunner Terry Matalas may not have precisely announced the idea of the Star Trek Legacy, he is mindful that the door of Jack Crusher's possible return would be left open. He said, "I'm going to put some scenes in these episodes that might potentially tee up the possibility of further extents for Jack, but he didn't specifically tell me." Spillier said, "I just remember reading it and then finding out that John Delancey and Q, and what that means to Star Trek canon. I was obviously kind of chuffed that I would be working with him." The actor also remarked recently that while the team was shooting the final scene, he had many conversations about continuing in the role in the future spin-off. Coming back to Star Trek Legacy's potential release date, there's a speculation that the series will be officially confirmed by the end of 2023. And the makers will eye summer 2025 as a realistic release date for the new season. After all, Star Trek Picard Season 3 was one of the highly successful shows in the Paramount Plus this year, and the streaming service would want to monetize the sequel series at the earliest. Several factors are involved to determine whether the given timeline will work out or not. However, as the 2023 writer's strike has come to an end on 27th of September 2023, things on the actual development front may start getting initiated smoothly. Talking about the potential next season for the Star Trek series, Matalas shared with Varieties recently, "We want to make sure we don't rush into a Star Trek Legacy series. We want to make sure we do it right. That's where we're at with it," I say coyly. At the moment, there's nothing developed on it. On a similar line, when Alex Kurtzman, who oversees the production of Star Trek on TV, was equipped, he shared, "We've heard the fans loud and clear. There's obviously more story to tell, so we'll see." So if you've noticed, the makers are not denying a possible next season, but they want to ensure that there is a momentum built up when making those decisions. In theoretical terms, if we got to speak, then we can sense that Star Trek Legacy may start some form of production in early 2024, which would mean that a Star Trek Legacy release date could be as soon as late of 2024, or more likely 2025. As we understand the possible release date, let us get into detail of the cast for Star Trek Legacy. As Star Trek Picard Season 3 ends on a positive note, we have a strong idea of who will feature in the Star Trek Legacy cast, which would obviously be headed by Jerry Ryan's 7 of 9. Audiences are actually dying to watch the return of Jack Crusher, and of course, some of the bridge crew members like Esmer, Mura, and the Dr. Ock. Unless they transfer off the ship, these cast members are anticipated to be in the show, along with some newcomers and guest stars as well. There are likely chances to include some members from the Star Trek The Next Generation cast, such as Gates McFadden, who can return as the Admiral Crusher once again in the guest role. Our list for Star Trek Legacy cast speculations include Jerry Ryan as Captain 7 of 9, Michelle Hurd as Commander Rafi Masuker, Ed Spilliers as Ensign Jack Crusher, Ashley Sharp Chestnut as Sidney LaForge, Todd Stashwick as Liam Shaw, Joseph Lee as Lieutenant Matthew Moore, Tiffany Shepard as Dr. Ock, and Jin Mali as Ensign Esmer. Yes, you heard that right. If Star Trek Legacy gets into the making, then fans of the series will witness the return of Todd Stashwick as Captain Shaw. Terry Matalas had confirmed the same, saying, "Should there ever be a spin-off?" And let me be clear, there's nothing in development in Paramount. But should one day the stars align, there was a plan from day one for Todd Stashwick as Captain Shaw to be part of it. Further adding, he says, "How, you ask? It's amazing, and that's all I would say. And every time Todd and I talk about it, we get chills. And no, it is not a cop-out. It's kind of incredible and moving and fresh, and I hope one day we get to do it." So, for the excitement of fans, Captain Shaw would definitely return. Somehow, we have some hopes as there are many options. As we discussed the cast and the release date, we can now delve further into the story or plot of Star Trek Legacy. The Star Trek Legacy plot would continue on the tale of the crew caught aboard the USS Titan A, now the Enterprise G, under the leadership of Captain 7 of 9. Moreover, we understand that the returning Q will be keeping his vigilant eye on the young Jack Crusher, Picard, and Beverly's son. As of now, that is all we are aware of the plot points. Speaking about Star Trek Legacy, Matala shared an overview of his idea in the media interviews. In his word, in case you're wondering, hashtag Star Trek Legacy is what I'd call a spin-off show from hashtag Star Trek Picard, a 25th century show that explores the last generation and the next. Obviously, Picard Season 3 wasn't a bad thing, but if reports are to be believed, then Star Trek Legacy would concentrate on one overarching story rather than short, episodic installments. Fans are already liking the big, ambitious story of Matalas. If you have watched Picard Season 3, then you would know that the finale had left things completely open-ended for the characters. There is no release for a teaser or trailer for Star Trek Legacy yet. Whenever the show gets made on paper and in production, the trailer can be expected to be dropped a couple of months before the release. The same trend was followed with Picard itself and the more recent Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2. If you haven't watched the Picard Season 3, then catch a glimpse of its trailer, as it would build up the excitement for the series. Whenever the show Star Trek Legacy gets launched, one can expect this show to debut on Paramount Plus, as it will join the ranks of all other Star Trek series. For the universe, online streaming platform Paramount Plus is the home of all the Star Trek content, which also includes the Star Trek movie and Star Trek Picard. Don't miss to catch Picard Season 1 to 3 as they are now streaming on Paramount Plus. When it comes to the number of episodes, Star Trek Legacy is likely to have 10 episodes. Well, it is based on the episode count of other latest Star Trek series such as Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks, and the predecessors, Picard. In recent interviews, the actor and prolific Star Trek director Jonathan Frakes has been outspoken about being behind the creation of Star Trek Legacy. He also opined that the Star Trek series needs to move forward, and probably launching some newer roles would be an interesting idea. Jonathan Frakes noticed a genuine opportunity for the Legacy characters' children to carry on Star Trek. He said, "I suspect if it does go forward, it would be Jerry Ryan, Michelle Hurd, and Ed Steelers, who's now in Starfleet, and Mika Burton, and Ashley Sharp's Chestnut, who played Gordy's daughter. I would also imagine Lulu Wilson, who played the Riker's daughter in the Season 1 and was so fabulous, could be part of it. She could come back and maybe be in Starfleet." Well, that's it for now with regards to the information for you to know about Star Trek Legacy. If you like watching this informative video, then you can click the like. If there is anything you think we've missed in the video to tell about the new season, share it with us in the comments.